for diversion program. Press 2 for victims advocate. Press 3 for intel unit. Press 4 for public relations. Press 5 for Allendale office. Press 6 for Culleton office. Press 7 for Hampton office. Press 8 for Jasper office. Press 9 for administration. Press 0 for operator.
You have reached the Beaufort County
Transferring your call to Michelle Frazier.
Solicitor's office, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle. I'm sorry to bother you again, but I saw
No,
your...
it's my fault.
Oh, it's fine.
My fault.
It's fine.
I told you to take the 14 out of there, and you shouldn't have. What is your email, and I will send you an email. How about that?
Okay. It's a little bit long. I'll spell it for you. It's I'm sorry. It's by the way, I just want to say I'm calling over a computer phone because I don't have much money, and there's a little bit of a delay, so if I speak over you, I'm not trying to be rude.
Okay.
Okay. It's IHY DR...
IHY
DRO
DRO
CAR
CAR
BON
BON
at gmail.com. I own International Hydrocarbon Corporation, so that's why it's like that.
Okay, at gmail.com. So it's hydrocarbon.
Nope. It's IHY, hydrocarbon, International Hydrocarbon.
Right, that's what I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry.
No, that's what I meant. Okay.
Yeah,
So I will put in the subject.
I got to tell you, we're scared to go back there. I was told, I'm sorry, Elizabeth was told by the public defender who had stated we should represent ourselves pro se and tell the judge that we were asking for a dismissal on due process grounds because the courts there were not following the law in that regard. After that happened, and we were lucky not to be put in contempt, Mr. Ian Dasak called back to Elizabeth, and under the condition that he was not being recorded now, he now said that he would not be in much trouble for having said that, but I might be facing 6 months for criminal contempt of court for offending the court. Yeah. It turns out that I'm whether it turned out or not, I am a data scientist. And so I spent a little time using legal software because I couldn't afford a lawyer. And the more I researched, the more I found that there are specific laws against what they did. And I've documented everything, including recordings when they knew. And I'd like to call myself more idiot than savant. I use eidetic or didactic or whatever kind of memory you might want to use as an adjective to be able to compose contemporaneous documentation. So we're very careful to only cite the law or public documents that were published by South Carolina or my own documentation.
I gotcha. Okay.
Hey, can you tell me verbally again your correct email address? I thought I had it written down as VCS.
It's 14th, like 148.
It starts with your email address starts with 14th?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then it's CVSC.
Charlie Victor Sierra Charlie?
Yes, sir.
Ah.
At solicitor14.org.
I'm so sorry.
Don't be sorry. I may have given you the wrong. I think I didn't give you the other C.
With a email address like that, I can see how it's almost prone to juxtaposition.
Yeah.
Okay, so I've sent to that email address now. Hopefully, it will have been received by you. If you don't mind checking, I see your test. Okay, that worked. Okay, test. And then, it's different than you said. It's M. Frazier at SC Solicitor.
Did it come up? Okay, I have 2 email
That's
addresses that I
fine.
use,
That's
so
fine.
that's why. They're connected together.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Should I? Oh, there we go.
That's
It said,
fine.
oh, the one,
Just-
the one that I just read to you bounced. I will send to the one you sent from.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine too.
And then if it's okay, I'd love to be able to just wait for a moment and see if it worked. That's right. Hi, Michelle. Letter to Michelle. Done. Okay, that should go through. Now, Gmail, I noticed through some systems can take about a minute. Is there anybody else I should be speaking to or emailing or, should...
No, I will get through this and figure out if there's somebody different that you need to be speaking to. It sounds like you talked to SLED and you've been talking to the governor's office.
Yes, and the Attorney General and the FBI.
That's what I mean, the Attorney General's office.
Yeah, and we prefaced our conversations with that we are reporting federal and state crimes. We are witnesses to state and federal crimes that are being threatened, and retaliatory prosecutions are pending. You got awful quiet. Are you still there?
No, I'm here.
Oh, thank God. Elizabeth, she has PTS from, anyhow, she's got PTS. And when we were in court, the judge and the clerk of court sneered at somebody ahead of us, somebody who was testifying in his own defense. And when he mentioned that he was a disabled vet and had PTS, the words, my girlfriend's a third grade teacher, and she pointed out that the word sneered means with contempt, laughter with contempt. She sneered at this PTS vet, and then they charged him way more. They charged him $77 plus 2 points for 77 in a 70. When I looked it up, it shouldn't have been that much. And then the more I looked into it, the more I found that there's an audit, at least one audit, by the State Auditor. And I think I sent you that as a document, he pointed out that they were not following the law in this regard, and that they were charging more than the, let's see if I can read this to you if you don't mind. The court fined one individual $227.95, blah, blah, blah. Section 4453-370 says, upon conviction must be imprisoned not more than 30 days or fined not less than $100 nor more than $200. The clerk of court stated the roadside bond amount written on the ticket was more than the lawful amount. The judge did not correct the error during sentencing. So when Yemassee received this audit a month later, they responded saying, the town of Yemassee has reviewed the state audit report for June 30th, 2017. After reviewing the state audit report, the town of Yemassee agrees with the findings. Some of the findings are due to staff vacancies / turnovers, and all findings have already been corrected or are in the process of being corrected. Well, I'm not sure what their correction is, but my charge was $615. Hers was also $615 under hand in one. She got a separate charge for open container of 2 something. All of those charges are higher than the law for which the law provides, even when you calculate in the surcharges under 14.1206, which is 107% tax or interest on top of that if you decide to go to court. I'm sorry, but man, this is not legal. They locked up my girlfriend because she used her First Amendment right. They pulled me over because they say that I didn't signal. But if you look at the video, you can see I signaled in plenty of time. Anyhow, that's where we're at.
Okay. I did get all those.
Is there anything else you need from me or anything?
I don't think so.
I mean, we're really in fear of going back there, because if the judge on her whim, this has been anyhow. We're about to lose our homes because of this. They took her mortgage money, and she was just about to refinance, and make it so that her interest rate was lower. Now her payment's going to be late, so she will be unable to refinance. She was placed into jail and then brought before... I want you to listen to this for a minute because you're a victim's advocate, okay? Michelle?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Just really quickly, she was in shackles before the judge, disallowed to have her reading glasses. On the recording that they claim that they will give us, you will be able to hear her tell the judge she can't read the documents. She's a third-grade teacher. She was unable to fill out the form correctly. She's a third-grade teacher that corrects tests every day. But I sit up with her all night when she works on this stuff off the books, working on, as a teacher, barely making ends meet, and she can seem to be able to fill out her students' tests, to correct her students' tests correctly, but because they disallowed her to have her reading glasses on the grounds that they were not prescription, the judge said, that's okay, I'll read them to you. Well, ma'am, she was in jail in shackles, under duress, forced to sign documents that she couldn't read. Then when we went into court, when we pointed out that the video that they promised us was not given to us, the Corporal Strauss claimed it was unavailable because Chief Alexander had it under lock and key and was not there. And I wrote fortunately, but I mistyped unfortunately. Chief Alexander bellowed out in court, yelled at my co-defendant, Elizabeth C. Wallace, and then later on her way out, because she was scared, she rushed out of the courtroom because she has PTS and her counselors have told her to just, go to a safe space. So she went out of the courtroom, and on her way out, he stopped her. And she squinted at, because she didn't have her glasses on then either, she squinted at his badge, name badge, and she said, "Oh, Alexander, you're the chief, right?" And he said, "You know who I am. You did your homework." Well, ma'am, I do research online, and when I go to Case Text or Ross Intelligence or other artificial intelligence legal research software, that phrase, "you know who I am," is routinely used as evidence against threatening witnesses. There are people, 278 or something, results from just that search term, "you know who I am," and the word threat. I guess that's it.
Okay, well, I will review this stuff and then see who it needs to go to, but it sounds like you called SLED, and do you still have pending charges?
Well, they tell us that they wanted a continuance, and when I objected to the fact that they claimed that Strauss was the arresting officer, Strauss hung his head and attempted to evade the question. And the third time I pressed him on the question in open court, he stipulated that no, he was not the arresting officer. And I said, "So Captain Lodeholt was, right?" And he hesitated and said yes. So they wouldn't let us have a fair hearing. They wouldn't let us face our accusers. They wouldn't give us the Rule 5 evidence that the judge had agreed we could have. They are stymieing us from a fair trial. They're keeping from us other Rule 5 evidence from the other 3 police cars. And the person that pulled me over lied to 2 police officers at least that I know of. When we get Strauss's video, if we ever get Strauss's video, we'll know if he lied to a 3rd police officer. If I did that, that would be a felony, right? Or at least an arrestable offense? Anyhow, you don't know. But that's what happened, We're going to lose our houses over a misdemeanor charge where the charges were more than triple what the law provides. So, are we victims?
So I'm going to have to look at this because right now you have pending charges, so my office shouldn't really be talking to you.
Yes, but But you're the victim's advocate office for the 14th Solicitor. And I just want to say this one more thing. Just want to say this one more thing so that I don't misstate the case. As I understand it, the definition of extrinsic fraud is officers of the court conspiring to deny a fair hearing or suppressing evidence or committing fraud before the court. Now, in conjunction with a lawyer. The 14th Solicitor is the lawyer in this case, no? Or at least Ian Dasek is.
Well,
yes?
Ian Dasek, it sounds like Ian Dasek was your lawyer.
No, he's the pro bono lawyer that couldn't... he called, I'm sorry, I don't mean to be upset. I'm saying that he called Elizabeth to explain that the lower courts are not following the law with regard to due process and appointing public defenders. So he first tried to sell her on paying him $1,200 to $1,500 to solve the case, to settle the case. Then when she explained that they already took all of our money and we don't have any more left, and we drove all the way up there expecting to have it dismissed because he said that it would be rightfully dismissed on those grounds. Now he's a lawyer that said...
When you say took all your money, what do you mean?
He was according to the lawyer's rules of professional conduct in your state, advertisements, which the word...
That's not what I asked you. That's not what I asked.
Wait a minute now. Advertisements are disclose or warning. He advertised, therefore disclosed and warned us that we were not going to be able to have a public attorney, and then said that he could probably solve it for $1,200 to $1,500, knowing that they routinely do this. He even said that they routinely do this, and so does the official report from the State Auditor. I think it's in my documents that I sent you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You said they took all your money, and I was trying to figure out who.
Yeah,
took the money.
615 and 615.
You paid your ticket.
You want me to send you the ticket numbers?
No, you paid your... So what you're saying is you paid all this.
We paid it so that we could go to court without risking arrest. We were under duress, under threat of certain arrest, if we did not pay. So we paid, showed up in court. We were not sworn in. I caught in open court while they were speaking to microphones that they claim we can have the recordings and transcripts from. We caught them lying, being evasive, suppressing evidence, and threatening.
Okay. All right. Well, let me look into this and see who else I need to send paperwork to.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm so sorry to trouble you.
You're very welcome. Not a problem, sir.
Okay.